Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is John Bishop at John Bishop Fine Art, and you're watching Art Life, the podcast. Welcome back to the show. It is the new year. It has finally come, and I am absolutely delighted to be rid of 2022. I had not necessarily a bad year, but a lot of things happened that I wouldn't want to happen again. So we're involved in 3 car accidents. So our insurance is going to go sky high. We've had just any number of issues in 2022. So glad it's done. Welcome 2023. And let's see, there's a lot of things going on. We are in the middle of hosting a solo show for Bogdan. At Silver Street Studios, we get the opportunity to use this gallery space at the end of the main hallway, and we get it for an entire month, and it's on a rotating basis. So it was Bogdan's month here in January, and so we're setting up a solo show for Bogdan. And of course, that is a huge deal. Now, I'm on the exhibition committee at Silver Street, and so we deal with a lot of group shows, and we'll have 4 or 5 shows a year where we're dealing with 30, 40, 50 artists and outside curators and big shows that last for months and have literally hundreds of entries. But I think it's much harder to do a solo show. And I think that's more difficult because you have to do it all yourself. So anyway, the show has started. It runs for the entire month, but we have the big reception coming this next week, and so that has taken up an inordinate amount of time and energy. But we're getting there. We're pretty much ready. This is the 3rd solo show we've hosted, and I gotta say, I think it does get easier every time, though it never is easy. And we talk a little bit about that kind of process and how that's been going and all the things we've done to plan for that in the vlog this week. So take a look on YouTube for that. But we have Bogdan's show coming, and we also have the Open Doors show, which is going to culminate next Saturday, a week from this Saturday. But we have another reception this week. And we're about to start another big show at Silver Street called Beginnings with guest curator Rosa Ana Orlando. And this last show, Open Doors, was with Wayne Gilbert. So we're very lucky to have those visiting curators and to be able to do these kinds of shows for the tenants at Silver Street. But the new show of Bogdan's, the solo show, is called Nature Remembered, and it's a very, very unique kind of idea. He's taken these figurines that are, gosh, my grandmother had and his grandmother had, and these horrible little figures of deer and of lions and tigers and elephants and birds and owls and these little creepy little figurines were important in my grandmother's day, and she would place anything of value on top of a hand-woven doily, and that's how she marked its importance. I think it also protected the furniture underneath. But we knew we weren't to touch anything that was on a doily. That was important stuff. And so what he's done is created this series of images that incorporate a doily, these natural images, these animals with their own doily created out of natural elements. So it's a very kind of smart, funny, sarcastic, but important message about conservation and environmentalism. So hopefully it'll go well. It's one that he showed in Tucumán, Argentina last summer digitally, in a big photo festival there. And then he also shared it at Photo Fest in Houston this last year. And they were both received well. So hopefully it will continue to be received well in this show. Either way, it's coming. We'll have the reception this Thursday. So I'll give you more on that afterwards. Only other thing that's really new is I'm going to be working again with Michael Swank at Art Gallery Studios. He's changed the name from PRPGMX to Art Gallery Studios in Mexico City. And this is a wonderful program. It's an incubator program, it's called. And what it is a group of artists who get together every other week. We share our work. We have a plan that we're working on, and we share our work as we develop. Now, the whole purpose of doing this, for me, is that since we sold Mom's house, since we got so involved in 2022, and with all the things going on with the business and the studio, I just don't create work as dependably, as predictably as I had done before. And I want to carve out some space that is apart from the business, away from Bogdan, that is just about me and my art practice. And I want to do that through the incubator program with Art Gallery Studios. So I'm very excited. I will start this next week. And again, once every other week we will meet, and my goal is to produce work and to build, I don't know, some more predictability in my art practice, if that makes sense. So fingers crossed that's going to work out, but it'll be nice working with Michael again. It's been a couple of years, I think maybe since Mom died. I don't remember when I took a break from that program. But it is the new year, and we have our New Year's resolutions. I've already failed on the one that I was going to exercise every day, but I have several others, and one of them is dealing with this kind of content. I got lazy as I got busy and reprioritized things, and wasn't as good about putting out dependable, predictable, consistent content on my blog and on my podcast, and even on the vlog. And so I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to go back to being better, being consistent, and doing these once a week. So fingers crossed that resolution lasts. We have built in some processes that we think will help maintain this kind of schedule. And it is difficult because it is a very aggressive schedule. I mean, we have the weekly vlog, we have a weekly live broadcast on Facebook Live. I have a blog, a podcast, this podcast, which I also turn into a video, so there's also a video podcast. All of those things weekly, which is a tremendous amount of work. And looking at our goals and objectives this year, it doesn't bother me that it's a lot of work. I know that people say, oh, you can burn yourself out, and maybe we've done that to a certain extent. But to me, everything about running a small business, particularly a small art business, everything about it is hard work. There is no one else. It's not as though I have a team. It's not as though someone is there to support me as a secretary or as a creative director or as a grunt worker. Everything we do is done by us. And so, as important as it is to do many things to keep the business afloat and keep the business moving forward and making money, as important as that is the marketing. And this outreach that I'm doing here, I do consider part of our marketing outreach. And so when I look at the entirety of all the things that we do in our business, it doesn't frighten me that it's a lot of work. A lot of work doesn't scare me. I know that then you get to the question of can you do all of these things and do them well? That's the vote's out. I'm hoping that we're doing them well. I certainly give it my attention. But they really speak, each of those kind of formats speaks to a different audience, a different niche, a different purpose. And there are people who will listen to a podcast who will never go and look at our YouTube videos. There are people who only look at videos on Instagram and would never go to our YouTube channel, never come for this podcast. It just depends, and we need to have a broad enough net to reach lots of kinds of people who are looking for content in different ways. So I'm happy to do it, even though it is a lot of work. And that, as we narrow in to do our goals and objectives this year, we will start this, not this week because we've got the show, but the following week, we will really start to consider our goals and objectives from last year, review those, see how we did, and take that kind of consideration to what we do every year, which is to have a kind of a goals and objectives retreat. As I said, in a small business, we have to do everything. So we have to be the organizers, the business management organizers, the risk management. We have to be photographers and maids, and we have to plan strategically. We have to do the sales. We have to do the packaging, everything, shipping, everything is done by us. And we're not necessarily good at that. We're not particularly good at sales, for example. We're better at marketing, I think, than we are at sales. But we have to do it all. And all of those things have to get folded into goals and objectives that are reasonable and achievable each year. And so what we try and do is we try and never let the fear, the old saying, never let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I think if I waited for perfection, I would never do art. Anytime you're running a small business, I say this, I sound very preachy, I don't mean to, but you can't fear failure to the extent that it's going to paralyze you. Failure is going to happen. It's all part of the process. I don't relish failure. I don't like failure. I'm not proud of failing, but failure is going to happen, and it is inevitable, and I in no way try and talk myself out of it. So when I'm starting to try and strategically plan a year and look at all the goals and objectives that I have during that year, I have to approach it large. That's why I don't worry that it's too much work. I don't worry that there's just the two of us. I don't worry about all the other issues. I look at what is best for the company and for us for that year. Now, I do have to be realistic. I do understand that a goal is something very, very general, right? And a goal is something that is more strategic. And an objective is something that allows me to reach that goal, but it is an actionable thing that is very, very much more specific and is measurable, usually in a time sense as well. And so when I'm creating my goals, I plan big. My objectives are more measured because they have to be achievable. And perhaps I only approach a goal. Maybe I only complete part of a goal in a year with the objectives that I've laid out. Maybe because it's a multi-year process. That's okay. I don't shy away from the big because we're so small. So when we go and start to look at creating new goals and objectives, we will look at the old list and we will say, okay, is there anything on this old list that we didn't do, and there will be. Is there anything that needs to move over to the new list? Is anything that we didn't finish last year, or didn't even attempt last year, that we really say, no, we really should have done that. Let's do it this year. Is there anything on that list that is incomplete that we need to continue? That's a second consideration. There may be things on the list that we had last year that don't belong, that we just said during the year, we said, you know what, those aren't very good objectives, those aren't very good goals, those don't matter. New things have cropped up that are more important, and we would jettison them anyway. And so I want to talk a little bit about, I was talking about not fearing failure. So if I don't do all my goals, it's okay. They're my goals, right? So we create goals and objectives as a tool for us to get better and better and to be more direct in how we're approaching all the activities that we have in a year. They're remarkably important for us to have that kind of focus as we go forward. But if I don't reach a goal, if I don't even attempt a goal, who cares? They're my goals. And I know people who will not plan very aggressively in their goals and objectives because they don't want to fail. What's the use of having a goal if you fail? Well, there's a certain rationale to that point of view. But at the same time, if you fail at a goal, what happens? Who yells at you? These are your goals. It's not a mark of your failure as a business person or as a business. It just means that the goals and objectives, you didn't reach them. And maybe you need to make changes so that you reach more of your goals and objectives, or maybe you need to change your goals and objectives so that they are more aligned with the kind of work that you are willing and able to do. But don't judge yourself as a failure just because you failed your goals. That to me has never made sense. And I know a lot of people who will under-express their goals, simplify their goals so that they'll be more achievable, so they can say at the end of the year, look I did all my goals. So what? How does that help you if you haven't achieved enough, if you haven't attempted enough? So yeah, I hope I don't sound like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. It is incredibly important to do goals and objectives, and you should do them seriously and take them seriously. But realizing at the same time, it's just me and Bogdan in this business, and if you're alone in your business, it's just you. And do the best you can do, be as organized and as purposeful as you can be in your business, but don't beat yourself up. There's just no excuse for that. So as we look forward, we tend to have a goals retreat every year. Last year, I think we went to Corpus Christi. It gave us a little bit of a break after the holidays, and it also gave us a chance, and we do this every year, we go somewhere that's not home and not work, not the studio, so that we can concentrate more clearly with fewer distractions on what it is we want to achieve. I find that it works a lot better that way. It also kind of improves does it elevate the process perhaps, because we're actually going away on a holiday? So it gives it more importance and makes it seem like something we enjoy more. But this year we're going to go to Austin. The reason we're going to Austin is because there's also some art events going on during that week. And so not this next week, but the following week, we're heading for Austin for 3 days, and we'll do our goals and objectives then. So it should be fun. If I look at the kinds of goals and objectives that we have done in the past, particularly this past year, I want to say that this next year, we're going to have to be bigger than we have been. Not in the sense of broader and more bigger goals in the sense of broader, but I think we have to look at things that matter more. We are now in a situation where we need to improve sales dramatically. Everything has dropped off. I don't know if you guys have been having the same experience, but really since the summer, I think things have been depressed. People just aren't coming into the studio. We know that when people come in, we sell. And so when more people come in, we sell more. People they're just not coming in. I don't know if it's the war. I don't know if it's just the economy and fear of the economy. I assumed that Christmas would pick up. We had a terrible Christmas, and several other people that I know said the same thing. Now, having said that, this current exhibition going on at Silver Street, we have sold more in this particular exhibition than we've ever sold in one exhibition. I haven't sold any of mine, but we've had 18 sales through just off the walls in the exhibition. So people are out there. We're just not getting enough people through to excite them about the art that we have for sale. We also have some stuff up at Round Top now, which is a kind of a consignment shop at a very, very big art and design venue here in Texas. And we have yet to get a report on how that's going. So yeah, there's a lot that has to be done. I think we have to build it up a bit. We need to look more specifically at sales. We have to get better. We have to look larger because we're about to open this nonprofit, Aripa Arte. And so we have to fold in this whole new structure of how we're going to maintain and develop this nonprofit organization and all the work that will entail, and not sacrifice the business at the same time. So we've got tons to do. I can't express enough how important I think it is for every business person, no matter how big or small, to take some time to really dig in to creating goals and objectives. Even if you're going to mess them up, don't let that stop you. So we have a lot to consider. I'm excited about it, though. I'm not discouraged. We will keep you informed of what's going on. I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay creative, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye now.